What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Monday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. Appreciate you making us part of your start. If you're up and at it, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available online to stream up at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. You've got your smart devices, your smart speakers, and, of course, the video stream up and rolling on YouTube on Man Cave TV. What do we have on our game plan this morning? Man, we got lots to catch up on. In fact, where do we even begin? Who gets the honors for the leadoff? Because there is so much to get through. Brewers getting swept by the Washington Nationals. Yeah, first 5-game losing streak right now for the Brew Crew. And to make things even worse, Christian Yelich is hurt. And Pat Murphy saying yesterday doesn't probably not going to get some great news surrounding a left hamstring issue with Christian Yelich. So Brew Crew dropping to 8-7 on the season. If you're taking a look at the central standings, the Brewers, how things can quickly change here. Now 4th in the division. Just one game back from the Pirates, who are on top, 9-6. The Reds, 9-7. The Cardinals, 8-7. Brewers, 8-7. And the Cubbies, 7-8. Brew Crew going to have the off day today before having a series against the Toronto Blue Jays that'll start tomorrow. So plenty of baseball chat coming your way here this morning. But we'll recap everything from the Brewers weekends and such. And yeah, just not a great weekend for the Crew. New jerseys, the Wisco jerseys, 0 for 3. Maybe we should burn them and get rid of them because they're not great luck right now for the Crew. But Friday, what also happened? The Packers making a trade. They traded a wide receiver, for crying out loud. Dontayvion Wicks getting traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for 2 draft picks, a 5th-round pick this year and a 6th-round pick next year. Now remember, Dontayvion Wicks was originally a 5th-rounder, so Packers actually get a little bit more in return for him. The Eagles are signing Wicks to a 1-year deal worth $12 million. So got to imagine that the Eagles are really shopping A.J. Brown at this point in time. But, I mean, they have Hollywood Brown now. Obviously, they've got Devontae Smith, and now you add in Dontayvion Wicks. So couple things to me that I'm wondering about this move. One, the new offensive coordinator, play caller for the Philadelphia Eagles is who? Sean Mannion, who came over from Green Bay. I have to imagine he had an influence in the Packers' former wide receivers coach, who technically is offensive line coach and such, but he was working with the Packers last year as their wide receivers coach, is now with Philadelphia too. So have to imagine that had a big influence, that they were really pushing the Eagles to make that move. But the other speculation out there, too, was Dontayvion Wicks one of those players that maybe wasn't happy with his role, that he wasn't satisfied with his role with Green Bay last year? I mean, you kind of look at the depth chart. He was behind Watson, Dobbs, Jaden Reed. Had that great Thanksgiving Day game and was always thought, like, man, he's got a ton of talent in the world. He can get off the line of scrimmage, probably, gives you flashbacks of Devontae Adams and such. And I think it's rare for Green Bay to kind of make this type of move. So, man, you have to kind of wonder, makes you go, Now, is there something else in store? Is there another move? Let's pump the brakes on the Marvin Harrison Jr. the third, or let's just pump the brakes on that. It's not a rumor that the Packers are interested in him. I think a lot of people are getting it mixed up. It was a blog on NFL a Fox on NFL that a blog about, hey, these teams should make these trades. Like, for example, the Rams, it was they should trade for J.J. McCarthy and make them his backup quarterback. That's where this sparked up, is that the Packers should trade for Marvin Harrison. It's not a rumor that the Packers are trying. Now, maybe they could, but I'm going to say highly doubtful at this point. Now, I kind of thought Micah Parsons was highly doubtful, so I guess never say never. But at this point in time, I can't see Green Bay trading, because the proposal out there that was written by Ralph on NFL Fox was Green Bay sending their second-round pick this year and a third-round next year. I don't see that happening, especially with Green Bay not having a first-round pick. So let's pump the brakes. Let's get the terminology correct here. It's not it's not a rumor that the Packers are interested right now. That's not where it sparked. It was, hey, this is what teams should do. And it wasn't just the Packers. It was a boatload of other teams. So let's ease off that just a bit. So, but it does have people wondering, hey, could there be another move potentially be made? Maybe it's open up a little bit more cap space, not a ton, but I got to imagine, when you look at it, Green Bay, after this year, their wide receiver depth gets a little thin if they don't lock up anybody. I still feel like they're going to lock up Watson. I feel like they're going to lock up Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden, still under that rookie deal. But I do think this signifies that Green Bay is going to draft a wide receiver at some point. And maybe it moves up a little bit higher in the priority when it comes to the draft here, which is already next week. So maybe we need to start looking at some potential wide receivers as a late day 2 or early day 3 selection for Green Bay. So, but your thoughts about the move, you can let us know. Hit me up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or join in on the Section 105 chat room. So we got that to cover. We've got Badgers. I mean, for crying out loud here. So, national championship men's team falling 2-1 to Denver. They jumped out to a 1-0 lead, but not able to hold on to it. So they fall in the national championship. And then late yesterday, the reports started to come through. And this is big news. Chris McIntosh out as athletic director. He is leaving the university to take a role with the Big Ten. The Big Ten Conference overall. So that's a huge, huge move. Maybe some Badgers fans are good with it, happy with it, because I think a lot of people just assume that means Luke Fickell is not going to be fired all of a sudden right now. Luke Fickell will be the head coach for Badger football this year. Will he finish the season as Badger head coach? I don't know. It's going to depend on who the new athletic director is going to be. Okay? But this is quite the shakeup. I mean, this is Barry Alvarez's, essentially hand-picked successor. He is a Badger. He played for Wisconsin, right? And now he is leaving after just a few years. So I think if you're Luke Fickell, yeah, you all would be right. I'd be a little bit more nervous. Like that, the pressure for this year has just gotten a little bit higher. Maybe if you're Greg Gard, that pressure has gotten a little bit higher. But you factor that in. You factor in that they're looking for a new chancellor and such. I mean, there's things changing big time here for Wisconsin sports, for Wisconsin athletics. So I'm kind of curious. All right, for an athletic director, do you want somebody that understands Wisconsin, that understands maybe the limitations of bringing in some potential recruits? Do you want somebody that knows that understands that is a Wisconsin person? Does it matter to you in that? Is that a priority for you or not? Let me know. All right. I'm curious to hear from you. So we're going to hit that up. And then, of course, the Bucks season, Milwaukee Bucks season, donezo, over with. And what happens right away? Doc Rivers out as head coach, which is no surprise. It was maybe just literally shortly after they got done playing with the 76ers, it was out. He gone. And we got more comments from Giannis now about his future. Eric Name from The Athletic was able to chat with him, and Giannis kind of chatting with the media and such. So talked about his future, talked about maybe his outlook with the Bucks. We're going to go through some of his comments. And when he, just really quick on one of them, he was asked, would you be opposed to signing a contract with the Bucks? He said, to sign a contract, no, but we'll see when we get there. Until we get to October, it's 8 months, 7 months. It's been a long time, but somebody has to offer you that for you to sign. He said the Bucks have not offered him an extension. So we'll see. We'll see how we got lots to go through here, including Doc's comments too about, admitting that Giannis didn't have the pieces to kind of, compete for championships and such. So, yeah, we got that to hit up. I mean, where do we even begin? Who gets the lead off here this morning? We got so much to hit up. We got Local Sports Roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Florida Center. We'll do a little Glory Days, brought to you by Summer Jam. We've got VFW Post, best and worst from the weekend. Probably got a few things in the running for this thing, right? So you can make your picks too, best and worst from the weekend. Hit me up with a text or join in on that Section 105 chat. So, man, oh man, let's get through it, or let's get things rocking and rolling here this morning, shall we? Where do we begin, man? Well, let's dabble a little bit of everything. Let's see where the conversation takes us. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll see where the comments, where the texts gotta go to, and that's where we'll get things going with the leadoff. All right, so quick break, our first break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the leadoff on a busy Wisconsin. And the Masters, too. Rory goes back to back. Got to throw that in there, too. So we got that. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Hey, sometimes accidents happen, but getting your vehicle back to normal doesn't have to be stressful, because at Superior Auto Body, they specialize in getting your vehicle looking right again after dents, dings, or collisions. And the best part, they handle the insurance process for you, working directly with your provider to make things simple and hassle-free. No runaround, no confusion, just quality work and a team that's got your back every single step of the way. Get your vehicle back on the road with confidence. Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, where the job gets done. All right, and now just throwing this out there. You've all heard about what the weather is supposed to be this afternoon, early evening, and tonight. Okay? I don't want to say the H word. But if, your vehicle does have that, you might want to, and you got to think about Superior Auto Body. I don't want to jinx it with the weather or anything. So, but you know where I'm catching my drift, right? If you got to get some of those dents out from that H word, you know where to go at Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. Oh, our Backyard Dreams supporters. So, C-Bomb with the first one in. Of course, he's got to chime in on the green and gold. Chadwick, a.k.a. C-Bomb, says, at first I was confused by the move, but when you consider Watson, Reed, Golden, Williams, better to give up a year early and get something for him, considering he probably wouldn't get an extension. So a few things with this when it came down the wire that the Packers signed traded Dontayvion Wicks. I was surprised. I mean, come on, initially, first reaction, heck yeah, I was surprised. I was like, dang, all right, that's interesting. And a couple of things went through my mind. First off, it was Dontayvion Wicks one of the guys that was maybe not happy with his role? When you look at it last year and, the last couple of years, just kind of stuck at the depth chart behind Romeo, behind Watson, behind Jaden Reed, just kind of stuck there. And was he a guy that was frustrated by that, frustrated by his limited, consistent opportunities? Last year's Thanksgiving Day game against the Lions, dude balled out. And maybe he's just one of those guys that, after that was, he didn't have a game like that afterwards. So that was kind of my first thought. The second thought was, all right, $12 million for a one-year deal by the Eagles. The thing is with that, to me, the fact that they already signed him to that one-year deal tells you, I think, for one thing, I think it tells us that his agent maybe had permission to go seek a trade. Because how do you have that deal and then immediately you get the one-year deal? 1 year, $12 million deal. So to me, that tells that gives me the impression that there was, we hear it once in a while with the NFL, with players that, their agent has permission to talk to other teams about a potential deal, to kind of go out there and do the legwork. So did Wicks' agent go out there, talk to the Eagles, said, hey, Eagles are interested. Can you work with them? So the fact that they already had a $12.5 million one-year deal tells me that the agent already knew this, or maybe even got permission, as the one that maybe spearheaded this thing. And there's no, you look at the Eagles coaching staff, okay? There's connections. It starts with their new offensive coordinator, which is Sean Mannion, who came over from Green Bay, former quarterbacks coach with Green Bay. And then their run game coordinator / tight ends coach, Ryan Mahaffey, was the wide receivers coach for Green Bay last year. So, you just connect the dots, for crying out loud. They probably had an influence in this thing. But get this guy in. Because I don't think anybody is arguing the potential and the talent that Dontayvion Wicks has. I don't think anybody is going to argue that. He was, for crying out loud, he was getting, Dontayvion Wicks comparisons for how he gets off the line of scrimmage in that. Was there inconsistency? Yeah, look at not this year, but the previous year, the drops, right? He was a guy that had issues with that. But I can see where, if it was, and I'm not saying he was, and I'm not trying to accuse him, but I could see if he was one of those guys that maybe wasn't happy with his role or his opportunities. And then, another thing that's popped in, and you save about a couple $1 million with this one with the cap. It's not a ton. It's not like a big cap saving. But I think this does put a couple things on the table here. One, the importance of signing a guy like Christian Watson to an extension. Because I don't think you want to get into the offseason where you don't have him as an extension, and that potentially increases the price tag. Jayden Reed, no, you don't got him now. And now you don't have Dontayvion Wicks. So now you're left with Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. So I think it increases the importance of signing a guy, signing at least one of their receivers to an extension. But I also think this does increase the chance of Green Bay drafting a wide receiver. Maybe it moves it up a little bit on the priority, just a skosh. But now I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay goes out there and drafts a receiver late day 2, early day 3. It wouldn't surprise me a bit. Because now you got to look at the depth and increase that depth a little bit more. We focus on Watson and Reed and obviously Matthew Golden. Nobody's really talking about Savion Williams, who was a third-round pick last year. But I also think this means the Bo Melton cornerback experience might be over with. And he goes back to a wide receiver. I think that's the other part in this thing. That locker room, that team loves Bo Melton. Absolutely loves that guy. And I know last year we kind of joked about, it's like, geez, this guy's getting more opportunities and Matthew Golden and all. I think at this point, you probably transition him back full-time to a wide receiver. So those were just kind of a few of my initial impressions or thoughts with this whole thing. But yeah, it is a little surprising. I think especially, considering this is kind of a rare thing. And I don't know if it's just Goody straight up trying to get some more draft capital to potentially make another move and collect some picks and to throw that out there and to get some, I don't know. Like, I really can't get a good gauge on Goody. I feel like whenever we get the sense of we've got him figured out or we kind of know what he's all about, then he does something different. Like maybe we're at a point like, okay, we know what Goody's going to do. We know his tendencies. And then he trades 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons. It's kind of all over the place. So he's a little unpredictable at this point. Would I be surprised if he makes another trade? No, not at this point. I'm not going to be surprised anymore. I mean, he's done it already a couple times this year, Zaire Franklin, and now you get a couple picks, and then you look at the Micah Parsons thing last year, and yeah. And then the other receiver that we haven't really talked about is Sky Moore. Now, I'm not putting a whole time of, big time expectations on Sky Moore this year. Could I see him being involved in some more jet sweeps or some certain play packages in offense? Absolutely. I think if you've got an athletic skill set that can fit certain packages, utilize it. I mean, I firmly believe he was brought in with the goal, the top goal of improving the return unit, kickoffs and punts and all that stuff. But if there's an opportunity to incorporate a couple plays for him and utilize the skill set that he has and just get the ball and let him make some moves in the open field, why not? Open up the playbook a little bit, get a little creative in that. So those were just kind of, again, my general thoughts on it all. What were your thoughts on the Pack making that move? Hit me up. All right, send it on over. 715-830-1912 with a quick message. Or, again, you could join in on the Section 105 chats on YouTube. We'll definitely get back to this and talk more about this and the impact that it could have. Maybe they package some picks. Maybe they just roll into this thing. But now you kind of look at the updated Packers draft stock, if that's the right way to kind of look at it. But 52 overall, 84, 120, 153, 160, 201, 236, 255. So they got 1 second rounder, 1 third rounder, 1 fourth rounder, 2 fifth rounders, 1 sixth, and 2 seventh. Do you think with them moving, Wicks, that wide receivers should move up on the priority in the draft board? Yay or nay? All right, let's take a quick break. Still lots to get to and try to recap here from a busy weekend. Brewers getting swept, Badgers, hockey losing the national championship, but Chris McIntosh leaving. Do you want to see the Badgers try to find somebody within the family, the Badger family? Or is that not a big thing for you? And then Doc Rivers, no surprise, but he's already out as head coach. Giannis, comments from him. And I'm going to throw out a list of potential replacements for Doc Rivers and get your thoughts on that too. So, all right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. With spring rolling into the Chippewa Valley, it's time to get back outside and enjoy the season. And whether you're heading to the range or maybe getting ready for hunting season or just gearing up for some time in the great outdoors, Tilden Gun is your local stop for selection, service, and expertise. They offer a wide range of firearms and accessories along with a knowledgeable staff who can help you find exactly what fits your needs. No pressure, just straight answers and real guidance. It's about making sure that you're comfortable, confident, and ready for your next outing. Spring is the season to get prepared, to get organized, and to get outside. And Tilden Gun is here to help you do just that. So stop on in and see what they've got in stock and why so many in the Chippewa Valley trust them year after year. Tilden Gun, your hometown source for gear, service, and expertise. So, by the way, if any of our local turkey hunters had any success this past weekend, make sure to hit me up. Send it on over with a quick pick, okay? So, hit me up with a quick pick. Hopefully you save some for the rest of us out there, too. So, all right. Let's talk a little, we got Badgers. We got plenty more Packers talking Brewers and such. But the Bucks yesterday wrapping up their regular season. And in terms of Wisconsin sports, we've got a couple big things here. First of all, with the Badgers thing, I've got a few names that I'm going to throw out there for potential, some potential athletic director spots. Got people with ties to Wisconsin, maybe some external ones too, and just to kind of see if anybody maybe piques your interest, if you will. So, but let's go really quick through some of the comments from Giannis yesterday. All right, so Bucks season is officially over with. Finally, maybe for some people out there, they're like, oh, thank gosh. Maybe now it's finally just, let's get through this offseason. It was like before they could barely get off the court yesterday, news popped up that Doc's out. He's gone. He gone, which probably no big surprise. And for a lot of Bucks fans, maybe even happy. So now we know that the Bucks will be looking for a new head coach. Who are some potential options? Is it Darvin Ham? Could he just get promoted? Could he be the guy that just, let's promote him, give him a shot? He does have head coaching experience with the Lakers, but is that an option, or do they want to go from the outside? Here's a potential list of coaches. You got Tom Thibodeau. He's available. The one name I'm kind of curious about, well, actually, there's a couple of them. And the Bucks did interview this candidate a few years ago, Becky Hammon. Now, Becky Hammon, long-time Greg Popovich assistant, obviously has had a ton of success as a head coach at the WNBA level. So would the Bucks maybe relook at that? Again, they interviewed her a few years ago. Would she move on from the WNBA to the NBA, where she has a lot of experience? I'd be kind of curious about that one. Another one, Taylor Jenkins. He was the Grizzlies head coach from when they were, one of the top teams in the regular season in the Western Conference. And he does have experience with Giannis. He was a one-time assistant coach for the Milwaukee Bucks from 2018 to 2019. And then he got the head coaching job with Memphis. And from a lot of accounts, too, him and Taylor Jenkins, him and Giannis have a great relationship. Is that a possibility? His regular season records when he was fired by Memphis in 2024-25, the team was 44-29. The year prior, they missed the playoffs, injuries, 27-55. Then before that, 51-31, 56-26. 38, 34, 34, 39 in his first season. That one would be kind of interesting. I don't think they'll have Mike Budenholzer back. Some other names out there would be potentially. I know some names have been thrown out there as Jeff Van Gundy, Terry Stotts. Would he come back to the Bucks? Sam Cassell. You got Mark Jackson. Rajon Rondo, who was an assistant this year with the Bucks. So I don't know if that would be a potential option, but if they wanted to go with a younger, unproven route. So there are some names out there. But do you hire a coach that Giannis would like? How much do you factor in Giannis with making this decision? We don't even know if he's going to be with the team. And he doesn't even know if he's going to be with the team. Now, remember, Giannis and the Bucks can't offer him a contract extension until October, okay? October 1st. But when he was asked about his future, does he feel that maybe he has played his last game as a member of the Milwaukee Bucks? Giannis said, that's a very good question. I don't know. It's not up to me anymore. It's not up to me. We'll see. Some more Q&A from Giannis yesterday. He was asked, you are going to be the topic of every conversation heading into this offseason. How do you approach that? Giannis saying, phone on do not disturb. Working very hard every single day to improve my game, be in the best shape that I can be, and just stay away from it all. I feel like this season, not just because of the way it went, it was draining for me, for sure, and how everybody approached my situation and the Bucks situation. But again, if it was draining for me, it was definitely draining for the team and for the organization. I feel like sometimes people just don't listen. They listen to the, quote, sources, and the main source is me. It is what it is. So again, do not disturb on my phone. Go about my day, improve, and come back better. I'm not going to go through the whole Q&A and such. Just kind of a few ones that popped up. How much control do you feel you have? Giannis responded, at this point, 0. I didn't have control. I was being cleared to play. I don't understand. From my understanding, coming back to play, which I don't think I ever had any return to play protocol, was I had to play 3-on-3 to be able to be available to play. I did that multiple times. I have never in my life denied participation in practice, which whoever says that, I don't know who said that, who came up with that. That's disrespectful towards what I've done for this team and the way I carried myself my whole career. You've been around me. You know, I did what I was supposed to do. I wasn't able to come on the court. Who has that say? It probably comes from above. It probably comes from maybe the front office or the owners. So I thought I had control, kind of like if I'm healthy, I'm going to play. But this shows to me that we, not just me, players in general, don't have no control. We've got to do what we've been told. So to answer your question, no, I didn't feel like I had any control at all. He was then asked, for you, is all of this just about communication with the general manager and the owners to figure out what all of you want together moving forward? Giannis said, I'm very big on communication. I think this is why I'm able to have a happy marriage. I've been together 10 years with my wife, married 1.5, and I think we have an incredible family. We love one another. We support one another, and the reason that is because we communicate with one another. This is why we are so tight. We always say the truth. Even when we argue, we try to figure out a way for us to move forward and try to find a solution for that specific moment. You don't let things linger. I'm very big on communication. I've always been open, but it has to go both ways. It cannot go one way or the other. He was asked, if you're still with the Bucks on October 1st, are you willing to sign another Supermax extension? Giannis responded by saying, oh, that's too far away. It's something I got to sit down, see, talk with my family, see what's best for me and what's best for my family, for my career. If that's the best scenario, I will definitely want to do that. But before we talk about an extension, somebody has got to offer me that. I haven't been offered an extension, so that's too far. You've got to take it step by step. A little bit later on, he said, he was asked, wouldn't the implication be that if you're at Bucks Media Day on October 1st, the team has decided they're going to offer you the extension and the team has been retooled in a way to compete with you yet again? Giannis said, What would I do then? Hypothetically, I know, first of all, I don't wear the pants in my relationship. I got to ask my wife. If my wife says yes, then yes. If she says no, then no. It's up to her. So you guys got to ask her. Find her on social media. follow her podcast. I don't know if she has one. Ask her. Whatever she says, I'll do. And when he was asked, would you be opposed to signing a contract? Giannis says, to sign a contract, no. But we'll see when we get there. Until we get to October, it's 8 months, 7 months. It's a long time. But somebody has to offer you that for you to sign. I haven't been offered an extension. So if that is on the table, then I will try to make the best decision for me and my family. But if it's not on the table, then I have to focus on how I can prove my worth and get on the floor and do what I do. And finally, he was asked, and this is from The Athletic from Eric Name, you have always told the Bucks that you want to contend for championships. How far away do you feel the team is away from that? And a very truthful answer from Giannis, we were very bad. We are the furthest away that we have been in the last couple of years. How many wins did we have? 32? This is the second lowest wins I've ever had. The first was 15 during the 13-14 season. So, yeah, we're the furthest away that we've been. We'll see. This is what we have in front of us. I didn't think we were going to be in this position last year, so I don't know what the position we're going to be in next year. If everything goes well, hopefully if the Bucks want me here, why not? But if they don't, okay. So now it all begins. Now it all begins. Right? Get ready for a long, long summer of Giannis and Bucks talk. All right. We got to take a quick break, and we'll wrap up the first hour. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Looking for the perfect place to kick back this spring and summer? Well, then you need to head on over to the VFW Post 305, Eau Claire's go-to spot to relax, grab a beverage, and enjoy the moment. Inside, it's a great place to meet up with friends, but when the weather warms up, it's all about that patio. With one of the best river views in town, there is no better place to soak up the sunshine, to unwind after work, or to spend a weekend afternoon. Cold beverages, great people, and a view that you can't beat. That's VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire, your spot to hang out this season. And it is a VFW Post 305 best and worst of the weekend or from the weekend. Make your picks. Hit them up. Hit me up with a quick text, 715-830-1912, and that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, or you can join in on the Section 105 chat room on our YouTube page. Worst of the weekend, I think, is it's kind of, I mean, there's a couple of options we could throw out there, right? We could throw out, for sure, Brewers getting swept by the Washington Nationals. And then Christian Yelich getting hurt. We're going to talk a little bit more about that coming up in the next hour. You throw in Badger men's hockey falling in a national championship game, heartbreaking game. So, yeah, those would definitely be my picks for the worst. Best of the weekend, I got to give a shout-out to this. All right, I'm a little biased, but my kiddo played on a 3-on-3 basketball tournament this past weekend back in the hometown of good old Medford, and the ball club ended up winning the ship. But got to give a little shout-out to this kid named Braxton who was on our team. All right, playing up. He's a first grader playing on a third grade team. Kid was balling, absolutely balling this weekend. And in a championship game, we go to overtime. And overtime is determined by free throws. Braxton comes in and says, I want to shoot him. He goes up there. The first player on the other team misses. So if we make, we win. Our first grader playing on a third grade team goes up there and nails the shot, and the kids win the championship. So that was the best of the weekend for me personally, watching, first part, my son playing on the courts that I used to play on as a kiddo. And then to see first grader Braxton just balling out, playing some awesome hoops. The whole team played awesome. Nash, Ben, Hutz, Braxton, they were all awesome. But to see that shot to win it and the confidence, that was pretty sweet. So that's my best of the week. And that's why I love sports. It's for moments like that. So big time ups to the Rising Legends team. So, all If you want to make your picks for some best and worst of the weekend, hit me up, all right? 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Or, again, you can join in on the Section 105 shots. So, all right, coming up next hour, I want to talk about, well, first of all, some Brewers. We got to hit that up, getting swept by the Washington Nationals. And then Christian Yelich getting hurt. The latest on Yelly, but also yesterday, late afternoon, early evening, the big news that Wisconsin's going to be looking for a new athletic director. Chris McIntosh leaving to go for a position in the Big Ten Conference. Going to throw out some names as some potential candidates to take over this job. And this is a big one because you've got the football program. You've got the football program with all the uncertainty surrounding Luke Fickell. Basketball with Greg Gard. Is there a little bit of a hot seat or so? It throws a lot of unknown scenarios into play with the new athletic director coming in. I mean, if you're a coach that maybe is a little bit on the hot seat or really is on the hot seat, you're going to be nervous. I mean, really, the one coach that's probably like, I got nothing to worry about is Mark Johnson and maybe even Mike Hastings at this point. But depending on who that AD is going to be, yeah, it's like anybody. You get a new boss that comes in, especially if it's from the outside, you're going to be a little nervous. So we'll go through some potential names and just kind of an informal question that I'd like to throw out to Badger fans. Do you want it to be somebody that's not from the Wisconsin family?